Welcome to the Online Marketing Show. My name is Brett McFall, and today I'm with an ex-truckie who really shouldn't be here, because he was an ex-truckie who had an aha moment, and now instead of sitting behind the steering wheel of a truck working over 100 hours a week, he's now sitting behind a laptop computer and living the lifestyle of his dreams. His name is Matt Taylor. Welcome, Matt.
G'day, Brett. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here because you actually shouldn't be here, and as the viewer's going to see, you really were not on this trajectory. You were not doing anything online at all. Checking email when you got home after a day's work or a night's work. And now suddenly you are not only doing internet marketing, but actually teaching it as well. So how does that journey actually start?
Well, working the trucking business was, my first venture into business. But it wasn't a business. It was a job. I was working in the business, not on the business, and working 51 weeks a year. There was no end in sight, and I needed to work smarter. And I was working hard, but getting nowhere. So I needed to make a change. And as you say, when you see things differently, you take different action. I needed to take some action, and if I wanted to make the change, and I had a massive why. The reasons why I needed to get out of the truck was my family. So yeah, I just made the decision basically that I had to make change.
That's a pretty ballsy decision to say now I've got to change when you have no experience in internet marketing, but you obviously were starting to hear some things, learn some things. What makes it so possible just to say, well, I'm out of the truck and off I go?
Obviously I had to get outside from what I was doing. That was going to lead me nowhere. I needed a system. I needed a system where I could actually, a proven system that I could follow, and I started with Warp Speed. And I've got to say, it wasn't the easiest journey when I was starting. I had kids my kids were coming home from school, I had teenage boys, and they were telling me that Year 8 and Year 9 maths was too hard. So, behind that was the fact that I needed to, prove to them that Year 8 and 9 is not that hard. If Dad can get out and do something that's totally left field, go and teach myself something, with the assistance of the thing with getting started in the internet. There was, when I started, there were so many people and tools to help me get started. It was just a matter of making the decision that I wanted to make change.
Yeah, because there's no shortage of places you can get information from. No shortage of teachers out there. No shortage of seminars you can go to. And so many people come to those seminars because I see them at my seminars and then they don't do anything with it. What was the difference between you and say your average person?
I think it was my why. I had this massive. There was no. I couldn't go backwards. I could only go forwards in terms of the position I was in. That was from a work perspective, from a family's perspective, financially. And I needed to make change, If
I might stop you there because you say I had a massive why. So what exactly is the why? Can you define what that why is or was at the time? Because obviously that's a pivotal thing.
Yeah.
If you found that this why was what caused you to be able to change track and really take on a big adventure, then obviously people watching this would be thinking, well, hold on, well, how big does it need to be? Because they might think, well, I just want to earn more money. Well, was it just that? I want to earn more money?
Well, I mean, at the point I was, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. If I didn't change something, that debt was going to stay there. If I did not change the way I was working, I would have been driving the truck for a multinational forever, not being valued. I was selling my time. The only thing that I had was me as a resource to go and do, to go and create more money, to dig myself out of a hole. I had the support of my family, which was fantastic, but until I made the decision, it was all good sitting on the sidelines and wanting it to happen, but until I made the decision to get in there and start playing in the game, I was never going to win. So it meant jumping in and utilising the resources that were online to actually start playing the game.
So I have people come to me and they say, well, if I spend just an hour a day, is that enough?
Yeah.
So tell me about what you spent in terms of when you were learning how the internet works in terms of business.
Well, I've heard so many people say, how much time do I need to put in? And that time, you've got to make time. There's no use just allocating an hour or maybe half an hour a day. I would come home from the truck and, my day would start. I would work all night and I would actually, it was a matter of allocation, but whether it was 1 hour or 3 hours a day, I had to be consistent in what I was doing, and I couldn't just start do something for one day, leave it for 3 days, and come back to me and think I was progressing. I needed to do something every single day, and I'd break it down into months, and then look back on the month to what I'd actually learnt and the progress that I'd made. But it was about being consistent and not just making time when it was available, really being what would you say, diligent and in my approach to taking it on. I needed to be consistent.
Yeah, so you dug in deep and investing massive hours, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And then when did you feel that you started to get your head above the water, so to speak? Like,
it wasn't until I actually started to, when I was looking back in, probably 6 months into my journey, things weren't going that great, and I actually went off on another tangent. It was someone that I'd met at a seminar, and I actually went off and created a software company. And I knew nothing about software company, but I just thought, as long as from a project management, I'd done that before I was a truck driver. I was a builder, so I was able to manage, manage processes, and I didn't need to know a lot about. Like some people, I'm assuming, get in and think that they need to know everything about everything. The perfectionists. I thought I was flying by the seat of my pants, and I was outside my comfort zone every day. But I just thought, as long as I could manage, I knew how it all. There were a lot of people out there that could show me what to do. I just needed to know a little bit about everything and pull it all together.
That's interesting, because you are right. So many people think they need to know every single thing before they start, yet we buy cars these days. We don't really know how the car works. We have a rough idea, but we don't really know how it works.
I need to know.
And we do so many processes during the day. We don't totally know how our mobile phone works, all this sort of stuff. How the internet actually works, we're not sure, but we use it, right? So you took that and didn't let it daunt you, and you just knew you used whatever you did know. And then how did you work out the rest? Like, what happens there? Were you just able to trust other people?
Yeah.
Is that what it eventually was?
I had to basically put trust in people, but I knew the process. I could, I employed or engaged good people, and I put faith in them, just like I do today. Whether, I outsource everything, and I have faith in people all around the world that do work for me, great quality work, and all I've got to do is pull it all together.
Okay, so you don't know everything right now then?
No, I probably never will. I learn something every day.
Which is good to hear, reassuring, I'm sure, for the viewer there. And then, all right, so you're out of the truck, and you moved from Western Sydney to the Gold Coast. Yeah. And you brought your whole family with you. You must be a master motivator.
I set goals. I set goals, and I make sure I achieve those goals. And anyone can set goals. We all set goals, but it depends how determined you are to make them. And 4 years ago, I'd come to seminars up on the Gold Coast. I liked the Gold Coast. I liked that sort of lifestyle. We're all chasing a lifestyle. My trucking business, I was stuck in Sydney. There was no way I was going to get out of that business if I didn't drive the truck. I didn't earn any money, but so we can have a business, but you want to create the lifestyle with it. So now I have the lifestyle, and I set those goals 4 years ago. I was very determined to set those goals, and we achieved them.
And you have families with you, so now it's a big move. And how's that going for you?
Fantastic. Yeah, we've even to do the move from Sydney was something that once you make the decision to actually do it and make the move, everything falls into place. It's like when I started in the internet marketing game. Once you make the decision, it's again you can sit on the sidelines and watch the game, and then you've got to get in the game. And you've got to, the decision to move. We had to get in that game. I started ticking boxes, and booking removalists. So there was no backing out. We were making it happen. Had to make it happen.
It's amazing how those things that works in business world as well as your personal life. Then everything about you is outsourcing, organising, making a decision, having good people around you as well. So business wise, and then also family wise too.
Yeah.
So what drives you today, do you think?
I think, I have a lot of we all have things in our head that keep us going mentally, and I think, I think I'm pretty strong mentally. I think my family keeps me going. My family were the biggest supporters at the time. I had to prove something to my 3 teenage sons that, if Dad can do something, you guys can do whatever you want. There's so much opportunity out there, and the things that people say that by changing nothing changes. So you need to and opportunities present themselves. It's amazing when you start to get on a move, the things that you didn't even realise that were going to eventuate. Things just put themselves. They open up. Doors open up. You've got to make that decision to take action, and if you want it that bad, it'll happen for you.
Very good advice, right? All right, so then what do you like about the internet?
I love the fact that every day I'm learning something. Every single day. The fact that it makes, to me, it is the best business model out there, and you're leveraging off other people's expertise. It's the fastest vehicle in the world, they say, you know. Forget your cars, the internet is, we have to evolve as it evolves. The goalposts are constantly changing, so I love that challenge. But when things work, you know, it is one of the most exciting things that you can experience. And when you see what it's a vehicle that delivers a business, it delivers a lifestyle to do whatever you want whenever you want. Yeah. Okay,
what don't you like about the internet?
Things that I don't like about the internet.
Not a whole lot, huh?
Not at this stage. Yeah. You know, to me, it's been very rewarding. You know, I'm not relying. You know, I'm relying on Yeah, I don't know how to answer that one, Brett.
No. I like to get the yin and the yang of everything. Like there's always positives, there's always negatives. But what I think I'm feeling from you is that you're only seeing the positives. You just focus on the positives, and that seems to be your.
I don't focus on the things that don't work.
Because the internet doesn't work for you every day. I'm thinking you probably have problems with connections or even with outsourcers or whatever, right? But you haven't mentioned a single one of those, and that's interesting, I think, because you stay so motivated because you probably focus on the stuff you really enjoy and you know, that good stuff.
That you know, when you can focus on you know, they say the subconscious mind is 400,000 times more powerful than our conscious mind. That's bringing the negatives in, but it's not about focusing on what we can't get done. Focus on what we can get done, and that's what I think the internet. That's why I always try to stay positive about the vehicle that we all use, and the rewards that it can bring.
Okay. So then, give me one of your dreams. Give me one of the things that is motivating Matt and his family. What is the dream that you want to achieve because now you have this, you know, the time and the freedom that the internet's given you?
To be financially independent.
What does that mean to you? Talk about what that really means.
To be able to just say to my family, let's go and do whatever we want. Travel the world.
Where would you go?
Where would I go? Well, you know some of the places that I have been.
Well, where would you go?
You know, I'd be back to America tomorrow. I've still yet to take my kids to Disneyland. And my oldest son is, you know, 18. He's just about to take off around the world. And I'd love to go and meet him in America later this year and take my kids to Disneyland. You know, it's every Aussie kid's dream to go to Disneyland. So that's something I'd love to achieve. You know, I haven't done it yet, but, you know, it's available now. Yeah, I can do it.
And would that have, if you'd stayed where you were, would you still been able to achieve that goal, or what would have been the things you couldn't do if you hadn't have made that shift?
No, my working 51 weeks a year, Brett. You know, you are a slave to the rhythm. You know, my kids never thought at school holidays that Dad was just working the truck. So you know, that wasn't available. To go away for 6 days over Christmas, that's the only days I got off. It was just not achievable.
And how did it make you feel? If you're driving that truck and you're thinking about those 51 weeks, I'm sure at some stage it's coming across your mind.
A lot of hurt. A massive amount of hurt that while I'm not focusing on everything negative about the trucks, when the kids were small, the truck was a good vehicle. I needed to find a better vehicle. That was the internet as they grew older. So, and that allowed me to have the flexibility, allowed me to live the lifestyle I want. I don't need to go to an office every day. You know, I can work from home. I can work when I want. You know, so I literally changed vehicles. That's all I did.
It's interesting analogy that you changed vehicles, and you really did change vehicles physically and, you know, in a metaphorical sense as well. So then, okay, tell me how you see. That's your personal side. You've got some dreams there, and we know what got you out of the truck, and this big need and dedication and all that. So then, how do you see internet business right now? What is the average person not getting about starting a business online?
The whole concept of what I do today, I started where people were sitting on the fence. So what I've wanted to basically create is, you know, a vehicle to help them get started. And I think the internet, for most people, it's daunting. It's something that they don't understand. So what I bring to the table is how easy it can be. And if we get it right from the start, You know, if a lot of people go out there and they want to do it themselves, they want to try things themselves, and you know there's lots of links in the chain that, you know, it can be quite daunting for people. I try to break that down, make it a lot easier, and get them off to the best start. Once they're off to a great start, you know, the wheels are in motion.
Okay, but how easy? I mean, people want to do everything, they want to know everything.
Yeah.
So then exactly how do you make it easier? Because, you know, I suspect what you do is different than the average person. So what is it? You know, like, I think you've talked about outsourcing, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing that in every way?
In nearly, I still like to have some sort of personal, you know, hands-on in the business that I'm actually doing. But you know, people are too scared to even decide on a direction to go on the internet. You know, I actually you know, show people how easy it is to get started. You know, literally put the step across the line and say, this is the angle that I'm going to attack. Don't become emotionally involved in what you're going to actually, you know, do on the internet, because that is sometimes people's, you know, biggest problem is they become too emotionally attached to what they want to get involved in. I mean, Richard Branson's not emotional about what he gets. He just looks for opportunities, and that's what I do. There's so many opportunities out there that I get super excited, as I'm getting excited now, for people to get started. And I show them, you know, just, you know, don't get emotional about it. This is a great opportunity. Go and attack it.
Sometimes it takes, you know, people, goodness, I've seen it take them 18 months to make their first dollar. Some people even a lot longer.
Yeah.
It takes so long they even give up. So what sort of results are you seeing? Doing it your way, that is. You know?
Doing it my way, within weeks, literally within weeks. I get emails, and I get emotional about these emails that people send me saying they've earned their first dollar online. I still remember what it was like when I made my first dollar. We're turning this into weeks, Brett, you know, which was unheard of, you know, before I started doing what I was doing. And the whole angle is, I've been there, I've been in that position, going to seminars, you know, being seminar junkies, taking the information overload, being overwhelmed, being confused, distracted, overspending. So I brought together a way now to show people how to eliminate all those problems and get started, you know, and be able to, you know, share that emotion with them about earning their first dollar online.
Yeah. So they're selling books, e-books with you. Your angle is sell e-books, sell information to the hungry masses.
Purely information books. You know, that's what people, if 80% of the people are searching online for information, we go and provide, we go and find opportunities in niches, like micro niches, and we tap into those markets where there is a hungry market, like there's virtually no competition into a hungry market, and we put ourselves in that position with an information product. And some people say to me, there's so much free information out there on this particular topic, no one's going to be interested. There is not a topic on the world, Brett, that, on the internet, that there isn't free information on. Yet, you know, ebook sales continue to grow every single year, you know, in the billions of dollars. So all we need to do is create, you know, have a small percentage of that market, and it's happy days.
Last question. What would you say to somebody who is thinking about starting a business on the internet to try and be their own boss, to try and find another way through? What does Matt Taylor say to them?
I think you've got to, you do have to take action. I've heard that. I've heard many people say that to me before. But it's one thing to think about taking action. You need to take action. Again, I use it, but you know, by changing nothing, nothing changes. You know, I have these things that you know, you need to enjoy what you're doing. So that's what the biggest thing I would say is, yeah, you need to be take action, but also be guided by people who are doing this stuff every day. I'm doing it every day. I'm happy to share what I do. You know, I hold nothing back. You know, I give as much as I can to get you started.
Matt Taylor, thank you very much indeed.